Hello and welcome to the in-depth series of Drishti IAS. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Today we are going to discuss rare diseases and how the government's policies are changing as in line to keep up with the changing research landscape when it comes to rare diseases. What policy changes I am talking about here? Let's start with the backdrop. It is important that we know this from the perspective of GS mains paper 3rd and 4th. And from the preliminary perspective, the factual, analytical, conceptual part. The central government earlier this week has exempted all foods and drugs for rare diseases imported by people for personal use from what? From custom duty. So it is going to take a little toll on the revenue of the government, but it will help the people whose life depends on these kind of drugs. See, the diseases, rare diseases, drugs are very less. The quality research is very nascent in this pretty arena. That is why the amount is really high. When you add custom duty on it, the amount becomes higher. So the government has also removed customs on cancer immunotherapy medicine, 𝐾𝐳. Medicines and foods needed for the management of 51 rare diseases have been exempted from custom duty. These include for specific diseases. These specific diseases include lysosomal storage disorder, which is a group of metabolic disorder that leads to buildup of toxic materials in the cells and hence it's harmful. Maple syrup urine disease, which is a hereditary condition. And here the body cannot process the building block of proteins, which results in buildup of harmful substances in blood and urine. Then severe food protein allergy. Wilson's disease, which is a disorder that results in the body accumulating copper. So these are among others. Now, usually these drugs for these diseases usually attract a basic custom duty of 10%, with some vaccines or medicines attracting a lower of 5% or nil. Medicines for the treatment of spinal muscular atrophy and Duchenne muscular dystrophy. These were already exempt from customs, so this is a preliminary fact that you need to remember. It will be a huge impact, huge relief for people who are living with rare diseases because food products are not available in India and certain food products or drugs have to be imported, and the cost of the medicine is usually very high, plus custom duty it becomes higher, and these diseases are generally for life. So the medicines have to be taken lifelong. So person's life depends on it. Moving ahead. Now, how can one avail the exemption? The person who is importing these drugs should have a certificate from the Central Director General, Deputy Director General or Assistant Director General of Health Services, Director General of State Health Services or District Medical Officer or Civil Surgeon. And the certificate has to be provided to the Deputy Commissioner of Customs or Assistant Commissioner of Customs at the time of clearance, or the person will have to give an undertaking to furnish the certificate in a specified period. So you can also, if you have applied for the certificate, you haven't yet received it, but you can give an undertaking if you do not have the certificate right now. You can give the undertaking as well, failing which the custom duty will have to be paid. Moving ahead, what are rare diseases? These rare diseases are something that affect very small number of people. And this, according to WHO, is a debilitating lifelong disease or disorder with a prevalence of 10 or less per 10,000 population. Other countries follow standards ranging between 1 to 10 cases per 10,000 to define a condition of rare disease. Okay, and there are about 7,000 to 8,000 conditions globally that have been identified. So newer conditions are being developed, and that is why the landscape of it is changing. Now, these are extremely difficult to diagnose and also difficult to test for. According to National Rare Disease Policy of 2021, in US, a person with a rare disease gets diagnosed on an average after 7.6 years. In UK, it is 5.6 years. Now, the patients have to visit many physicians to confirm what disease they have for diagnosis. 2 to 3 misdiagnoses are also typical before getting the final diagnosis. And even after one gets a diagnosis, most of the rare diseases do not have any specific treatment. So it's just experiments. And the ones that do not can be prohibitively expensive. Moving ahead. Now, why are the drugs for these diseases are so expensive? Because not a lot of research has been done. There is a very small amount of people, if we compare, that is why it is known as rare disease. very small amount of people that are actually impacted by it. So what happens, the researchers and pharmaceutical industry is not very excited about putting in a lot of effort and money to have a research on it. So that is why the number of, drugs are lesser, and that is why the cost is higher. And that is why, if they do not proved to be a good market for drugs, not a lot can be done. This is the reason that the medicine for rare conditions that do exist are known as orphan drugs. These are prohibitively priced to recoup the cost of research and development according to National Rare Disease Policy. Treatment for some rare diseases can vary from rupees 10 lakh to 1 crore per year. For a child weighing 10 kgs, the treatment has to be continued lifelong. The cost is going to up along with the life and weight and age of the person. Moving ahead, data on how many people suffer from this condition is not, available in India. There is no epidemiological data on the incidence, but cases which are reported from tertiary care hospitals, they get recorded in the national portal which has been provided by ICMR. Here only after the research everything was available, then only the policy came along. As per the data submitted to the Parliament as of December 2021, at least 4,001 rare disease cases were recorded in India. And as per the data submitted to the Parliament, another one is that primary immunodeficiency disorder, the most common ones are, which is a genetic condition, it impairs the immune system, lysosomal storage disorder, small molecule inborn errors of metabolism, which is a large group of genetic condition where the genetic code for metabolic enzymes are defective. Moving ahead, cystic fibrosis, which is a condition that severely damages the lungs, leading to need for transplant as well. Osteogenesis, which is a condition where bones fracture easily. Certain forms of muscular dystrophies and spinal muscular atrophy as well is reported. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching and stay updated.